Hey, so in this video, I'm going to walk you through how to create and customize a fully unique Telegram trading bot from scratch. So you've probably seen the videos already that have been showing you how this stuff works, and I want to dive deeper into the entire flow. Essentially, I have it right here. I'm going to make an entire new one. I'm going to start from scratch. I'll go through the entire process in this video. But in a nutshell, I wanted to start with this. We're essentially going to create a Telegram chat with ourselves that only we are going to be typing into, or that we can voice record into. So we can kind of just talk to it like we would talk to anybody, or like we would talk to ourselves, saying, okay, I want to get long this, I want to short that, I want to get out of this, I want to go full port into this. Whatever we're thinking, whatever we're doing, whatever percent allocations we want, we can do that. And so on the surface, if I zoom in here, we're going to start with that Telegram channel. It's going to read the messages and then take those message details and then decide what to do with positions that we're talking about in the messages. Then what's going to happen is it's going to go to a trading strategy that we're going to call a trading strategy, but we're going to call that strategy our trading bot on AlphaInsider. So for one I've just set up, it's pretty much fully long just Ethereum. We've got a bunch of trades right here. That's actually trades that I've taken. I'll show you how all that works in just a second on a top level view. But what we do is we essentially transcribe the Telegram channel and we send all that information to this page. And then from this page, we have an option to click on auto trade, which then can automate these trades at these times that we're sending them to our broker on our behalf. So we don't have to manually go in and put in market orders and do all this different stuff. We can have it done for us by just a couple of words sent by text or by just voice commands, which is really, really cool. So this does not mean on the surface that we are necessarily going to be trading this. We're going to create the strategy to send the data of what we're talking about, essentially the trade signals, the trade commands. And then from here, we're able to automate it if we want. Or what we can also do is leave it alone and not automate it and just track our performance based on how we would be, normally trading, and just track it this way. And then if we're doing well, then we can go ahead and automate it, put some potential leverage behind it, depending upon the broker you're using, etc. And this step is customized because each person that creates this or everyone who makes this is going to have a different strategy ID. And that strategy ID is essentially how this all works. Then from there, it's going to go through this position manager where it's going to figure out the current positions you have. It's going to decide what it needs to do with the current positions. Is it going to exit? Is it going to enter? Is it going to add to them? And then it's going to create new orders or create a post. So you can actually create a post, which I'll show you how to do that as well, where inside of here, you can actually have a post pop up that says whatever you want it to say. So if you want to do market analysis, you want to analyze Bitcoin, you want to analyze Ethereum, you want to talk about what you view or the market view going forward. If anyone was to follow your strategy, which you can make public, I currently have it locked, which means it's private, but I can make it public. And if anyone wants to follow me, I can kind of talk through what I'm seeing in the market, and then they could just follow along with what I'm doing, which makes it really, really cool. So this ultimately allows you to go and follow other people, create this for yourself, send out the link to your strategy, which essentially is your Telegram channel that you're talking to, and people can follow along. They can copy the trades. They can just kind of watch from the sidelines, depending upon their comfort level. And then the final step is you'll get a reply that'll tell you what the bot has just done. So right now I'm looking at my Telegram channel, and what you can see is all of the different things I've said. Some of these are voice recordings. Some of these are me telling it what to do. And the last thing I was doing to test it to see what it would say is, can we add a 5% allocation to short crude oil? But it could not, because in this trading bot, I'm only trading cryptocurrency. I created a crypto trading bot, and so it couldn't. But all prior to that, you can see sell 50% of my Bitcoin position. Now with the remaining 50%, split it into 25 ETH and 25 SOL. I'm doing all this, and then it would give me a reply telling me what it did literally within seconds after I sent the message. It might take just a tiny bit longer if you have a super long audio recording, because it has to go through and it has to transcribe the message, and then it has to figure out what it's going to do based off the transcription of that message. So that could add a tiny bit more time, but ultimately, you're talking within seconds from the time you type in or text what your bot you want it to do to when this thing actually goes through the entire process and it's done. Now, the first step here is we need to have an active and working n8n account. That is how we create these workflows, because we're going to be able to do this for ourselves. So while the framework is going to be here, we're giving you the framework in this video, you need to customize it. So I have mine set to published. I'm actually going to make an additional one and show you guys the whole process from step 1 all the way to the end. Future me, we actually just got the template uploaded to n8n. So now it's hosted through n8n.io. You can actually click the link in the description box, which will be the first link that will take you to this page right here. On this page, we have a visual of the flow. and then we outline how it works, how to get set up, prerequisites, all of that, kind of walking you through step by step. So this is a great page to start off with if you want to kind of put this side by side with the video. We're still going to walk through everything here in this video. And then what I'm about to say next are the other two ways that you can import this workflow into n8n so you can customize it how you see fit and how you need to ultimately to get this working and running for your specific trading credentials. So I'm going to go up to the top where under my personal workspace and click on create workflow. You're going to get to a page that looks like this. In the description of this video, I'm going to leave a link. That link is going to take you to a page that looks like this. The link should end with .json, the JSON file. What you're going to do is you actually have two options. You can right click or control click on the screen and then click save as, and then save it to a folder or a place where this JSON file will be safe and you can pull it up if you ever need it again. Or the other option you have is to actually just grab this link and literally copy this link. You can save it, or you can refer back to this video when you need to. So bookmark either this link or this video to show you the process step by step. And then once we have that, we're actually going to go back to n8n. Up next to publish, we're going to scroll right to where there's three dots up in the top right. Click on those three dots. We're going to scroll down, and then there's really two options here: import from URL or import from file. So if I clicked save as and I save that .json file on my computer, I'm going to click on import file and import it that way. If I'm just grabbing the URL, I'm going to go to the URL, import from URL, and I'm literally going to just paste the URL that I just copied a second ago that I'm going to leave also underneath this video in the description box. Click on import, and now it's going to populate the entire workflow that we were just looking at right here. So we're going to zoom in and we're going to build this thing out from scratch. So we're going to start all the way on the left-hand side, and I'll show you exactly what you need to do, how to set it all up, so you'll be up and running in just a few minutes. There's a bit of a description of how this works and then some required steps. So the first required step here is we're going to create a Telegram bot by messaging botfather to get your auth token. So we're going to go to Telegram. If you don't have a Telegram account, create a Telegram account. You can actually do this on the web or on your mobile device as well. You're going to type in up in the search at bot father, and it's going to be this at capital BOT capital FATHER, and the username will be again botfather. There will be a start button. Click on the /start, and then you'll get this message right here. I'm going to actually make a new one. So now from here, we can either type in /new bot to create a new bot, or we can just click on it. Click on new bot, then it'll prompt you with, all right, a new bot. How are we going to call it? Please choose a name for your bot. I'm using all caps, but you don't have to. Done. Congratulations on your new bot. You will find it at here. Click on that, which then will open up a new message. This will be your trading bot message where you're going to actually message back and forth with your trading bot to tell it what to do. You'll click on start, and then you can start messaging right in there. So you can see I have TCBot2 up here now. If I go back to botfather, we're not technically done with botfather because we want to go down here and we want to actually go down to where it says use this token. This is going to be the API key that you're going to now plug into n8n. So save this. Technically speaking, you'll be able to come back to the messages you have with botfather to find it. However, if it ever vanishes or something like that, you can always make a new bot, but I'd recommend saving this somewhere safe so you can always refer back to it if you ever need it again. And now we've completed required step number 1. We've got our auth token, which is the token we just copied. And now we're going to go down to here. The next step is add the auth token to Telegram channel listener node credentials. So this is the node right here. If I double click on that node, it's going to open up this page. You should see Telegram test, or it'll be blank, or something will be in there. You're going to actually go into here, scroll down to where it says create new credential, because we need to put our credentials into this n8n workflow. So it uses our accounts, it uses our strategies, it uses our trading bot or our Telegram channel. I'm going to paste in the token that I just copied from the botfather. I'm going to go up to the top left to rename it just so I remember what this is. This is going to be TCBot2, and then I'm going to click on save. Successfully created. We are good to go. Okay, great. So that's done. It then says optional to monitor a specific channel, set channel ID in channel check. That is going to be right here. We don't have to do that right now. That said that you had a read-only channel and you were given access to create something like this as a follower, or you were the strategy or the channel creator and you wanted to create a way for your followers to kind of automate, the signals that you're providing, something like that. That's not exactly what we're doing here, but we'll make a separate video for that purpose. We'll continue down the flow, and the next one is going to be right here. We have the OpenAI logo. We're going to double click onto that. This is essentially the same exact thing, except we need to just plug in our credentials from OpenAI. So we're going to go to the OpenAI API platform, click on that on Google. We'll get to a page that looks like this, and then we'll scroll down to API keys. You'll click on create new secret key, and I named mine Telegram bot. Once I do this, you're going to get an API key that, again, once you get off the page, you can't find it again. So you're going to want to save it somewhere safe that you can refer back to if you ever need to do this again. This is technically not free, so you may need to top up your balance or add additional funds to the OpenAI account. This is separate from having like a ChatGPT Pro subscription, which I have. And I've been messing around with this, and so far it's spent 4 cents. So it's not like a super expensive thing, but it is something you'll have to use for this specific workflow. I'll click on create new credential. I will paste the OpenAI API key, and I'm going to call it OpenAI account. Then click save. Okay, so this first block is now completed. Now we get into the next block. There is only one thing here, but it is very important. So when I open up the node called global settings, what we need to do is scroll down to the strategy ID section. And where it says value, we're going to enter a value, but we need to get the strategy ID for the trading bot we are using. So what we have to do is go to AlphaInsider, and here is a look at my current strategy that's running right now. But I'm actually going to go to the portfolio and then click on new strategy. I'm going to call this one TCBot2. I can add a description. I can put a hypothetical starting balance. I'm going to put $1,000 just for the example. That does not mean you're committing any sort of funds to this. It's just so we can track the strategy over time to see how it actually trades. And this is going to be, I want this to be a cryptocurrency strategy, and I'll leave this one public for now. I can add the description like I said before if I wanted to. Public, private, or paid. If you wanted to go private, you will have to upgrade your AlphaInsider plan. Not a huge deal initially, but if you wanted to protect anyone from seeing what you're up to, what your strategy does, that could be useful. And then there's a paid option where if you want people to have to pay you to have access to the trades that you're essentially taking through AlphaInsider to be able to see it and then to be able to automate them, then you can have a paid option and then put a monthly price. People can actually pay that amount to you. 70% goes to you and 30% goes to AlphaInsider. I'll leave mine as public for now. Click on create. Now we are on this page. You will see day, week, month, and 5 year. When we're on the 1 year, the strategy ID is up at the top after strategy slash. So after the slash, we have 26Q, et cetera, all the way to X. That is our strategy ID. Make sure we copy it. It's after the slash. Now, let's say we're on this page, we're on the 1 day, the week, or the 5 year, and we see a question mark time frame equals day. All you're going to do here is get rid of the question mark time frame equals day. And essentially everything between the question mark and the last slash is your strategy ID. I know it could be a bit confusing, but if you go to the year, you'll see your strategy slash, and then that's the ID. That's how we identify the strategy and where to be sending these commands or these trade signals to so that we can actually track it, see how it performs, and then ultimately automate it. So grab your strategy ID, go back to our n8n workflow, and then where it says strategy ID, underneath the string, there'll be a value box. All we're going to do is paste it right in there. There will be no button that says save. Scroll up to the top right, hover over the X. It says data stored, safe to close. So we're good. There's an optional step here that says set whitelist array. So what that means, if I go back into this, if I go under the whitelist category, I can actually set the assets that I want my bot to trade from. So if I wanted to have a hard stop on, like, let's say 3 assets, let's say I want to trade ETH, Bitcoin, and maybe Sol. If I want a hard stop and say, I don't want anything else. If you were to talk or text your bot and you were to say, hey, get me into Dogecoin or get me into something else, then it won't do it. It will only trade the assets that you have whitelisted. If you leave it open and you don't touch it, don't delete the brackets. If you just leave the brackets open, you essentially have an empty array. And as long as the asset or the ticker is valid on AlphaInsider, you're good to go. And how to check that is we go back to AlphaInsider. And because we created a crypto bot, we'll scroll down to this search stocks and we'll start typing in different cryptos we want to trade. So for example, BTC, you start typing that in, it's there. You start typing in Sol, it comes up, boom, there. A couple other options below that as well. So you can type in what you want. Now, if you're going to edit that, what you will need to do is get the full stock or crypto ID. Where you find that, you search for the asset you want, and then it's this right here. So underneath BTC and Bitcoin, it's BTC : Coinbase. That is what you're going to copy, and you're going to paste that into this array. and then you're just going to put commas in between the different ones. So then if I wanted to do ETH, all I'm going to do is type in ETH right here, click on the option there, and then grab ETH Coinbase. Make sure I don't mess that up, grab that properly, and then put it after the comma inside the brackets. I can then list out only the assets that I want to have trading in this bot, or I can leave it again as open. And this gives me no limitations other than what AlphaInsider is limited to. All right, we're almost done. So now we're on this final piece right here, and we'll have this section that says get positions. We have to add the AlphaInsider API token from the developer settings to the get positions, the create post, and the create orders sections. Once we do that, there's one more little piece, and then we're going to be good to go. So get positions, double click on that. We'll go down to right here where we have bearer auth. Here's where we need to add our AlphaInsider API key. How do we grab that? We go back to AlphaInsider. I'm going to make a new tab, but I'm going to click on settings and then click on developers. You'll come to a page that looks something like this. I've actually created this for my Telegram bot right here, but you'll name it, for example, Telegram bot, and then you will click on the permissions, n8n make/Zapier. Click on that, and it will give you the permissions necessary. You can manually do this, but let's say you were to open this up and you're looking at the positions and you kind of clicked on withdrawals or something like that, and then you're like, oh no, I don't want that, but I forgot what I clicked. Click on clear all, and then just click on that n8n again, enter your AlphaInsider password, and then click on create key. Same thing here, you're gonna wanna save that key. I'd put it where you put all the other ones, and then you're gonna be able to come back to that if you wanna use it again, because you can reuse the same key for multiple bots. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna actually reuse my past Telegram trading bot key that I already have. I'm gonna go down to bearer auth, click on the drop down, then go to create new credential. I'm going to add the bearer token, which is my AlphaInsider API key, and then I'm going to click on save. I left this one named bearer auth account 3. I've done this a couple times, but it's not a bad idea to rename it to something that you're going to recognize. This way you don't have to worry about it in case you have to mess around with the current credentials, but it's ultimately up to you. So that's where we put for get positions. We're going to scroll all the way to create orders. We should now have this in there. So all we have to do is go to bearer auth, and it's currently set to AlphaInsider test. We're going to scroll down to bearer auth account 3, which is the one I just created. Should be good to go. X out of that. And then create post, we're going to go down, same exact thing, bearer auth account 3. X out of that. The final step here is where we go down to this OpenAI model. This, we should be good because we already entered this in before, but we have it set to OpenAI test. That's the credential to connect with. We're going to scroll down to the OpenAI account that I literally just connected moments ago. And now I should be good because I already entered it previously. So it should be inside the workflow already as a credential that I've uploaded. Okay, everything should be good now. Now let's do the test. So before we publish this, we don't have to publish it right away. We can click on this execute workflow. Okay. Now what's going to happen here is a couple of things. Before I click on that button, I'm going to go back to AlphaInsider to the TC bot that I just created. Okay. And I'm going to put that right next to my Telegram tab. And I'm going to go into my TC bot 2. Get that ready, have it set up on AlphaInsider, ready to go right here. Again, there's been no trades yet. We have no positions, nothing's happened. Then I'll go back to n8n and I'm going to click on execute workflow. So now it's essentially listening for commands. I'm going to go into Telegram and I'm going to say, go 100% long ETH. Type that in to TCBot2 on Telegram. Something happened, so let me just check. I'm going to go back to my Telegram channel listener, double click on that, and it's set to Telegram test. That's the problem. Make sure our credential to connect with is the TCBot2 credential that I just added moments ago. So essentially, think of it as like we're adding our credentials using the API keys that we have from Telegram, from OpenAI, and from AlphaInsider. Once we have those in, it's going to be able to listen to everything and figure this all out. Now, let's try execute workflow again. It's taking in what I had already messaged, and now boom, problem in node under user reply, bad request. Okay, so it did everything except send me the reply, which means it create the orders. It should have actually taken this trade. And as we can see, boom, we are 98.79% in ETH, and you can see the trade literally 21 seconds ago has already gone through on ETH. Great. But why did we not get a reply? And why did we get this final piece that failed? Well, I'd imagine it's probably the exact same reason why the original thing didn't work in the first place. Double click on the user reply. And again, our credential is connected with Telegram test. That's not what we want. We want TCBot2. And we're going to now click on execute step because it was the final piece. Node executed successfully. Click on the X and we should have a message waiting for us inside of Telegram. And there it is. Opened ETH Coinbase long 100%. Current positions are ETH Coinbase long 100%. Awesome. Now, we don't have to click on this button every time you want to execute. Now that it's working properly, what I can do is I can actually publish it. So now I want to do one final test. I'm going to click on execute workflow. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to Telegram, except I'm going to do a voice message. Get out of all of my open positions right now. So I sent that in. Oh, same thing. I forgot. There is still one more Telegram component right here, because if we have a text message, it actually avoids going this route because we have to send the audio file from Telegram to OpenAI for it to transcribe it, and then it goes into the global settings. But if we have a text message, it actually completely avoids that and takes this top route, which just takes the text and determines what it needs to do from there. So forgot this last component right here. Watch this. Go in here. Again, connected to Telegram test. Make sure it's connected to the correct credentials. All right, now that I fixed that, let's try it again. It didn't do anything. Let me go back in here and just tell it. I want you to close out of all my open positions right now. Boom, back to Telegram. It's now transcribing the voice message. It's going through, parsing the positions. We can see it all working right in front of our eyes. This takes a bit longer again because we have to transcribe, but now it's done. Go back to Telegram, closed all open positions, current positions equals none. Back to our bot, we have nothing in here, and we can see that it sold ETH 11 seconds ago. We're good. Great. So now we've tested both angles. Everything is working from the text and from the voice message. We're working great. Now the final step, I already created this myself, so I already have mine published, but the final step will be to go up to the top, click on the publish button, name it what you want to name it. So I'll call it Telegram Trading Bot Workflow, and then I'll publish it. Once you're published, you don't have to click on execute workflow. It'll just continuously be running in the background. So anytime you want to send messages to Telegram, it'll do it for you. Now let me give you that final example of showing you how to create a post. So watch this. Hey, you can create a post going over the current technical landscape of Bitcoin, telling us if it's bullish, bearish, or neutral. So I sent that audio in. It's now going to work through, transcribe the message, and then figure out what it needs to do. We should see it go into the create post section right here. Boom, boom, boom. Yes, it just did. DM user reply. Boom. Posted Bitcoin technical analysis to audience. So now inside of your trading strategy on AlphaInsider, you'll scroll down and you'll see here's a post. Bitcoin technical landscape update. Bitcoin is currently in a neutral posture until price confirms direction. Bulls want to see yada, yada, yada. You get the point. So I could have one that I just talk to straight up, or I could say, hey, give it a quick update, give me some technical analysis. And now I can have that sent out to my followers, my subscribers, anyone who's following my trading bot, and they can get that update based off whatever I want to say. That's pretty cool. Not necessarily a feature that's needed for trading automation, but it is a cool component. Now, the final component is how do we automate this with our broker? Well, if you know AlphaInsider, you already know how to do this, but you'll actually go to the trading strategy, click on the button that says auto trade. If you have a trading bot or a trading account already live that you want to add this to, kind of like as an allocation to, then you can do so. So you can essentially think about it as like this trading strategy can be an allocation inside of a bigger, basket of trading strategies. And then inside this one, you might have 50% Bitcoin, 25% this, that. And so you can have allocations inside of that, which is kind of cool. But if I want to do this separately and have my own trading bot, just being my Telegram account, and by the way, your first automation on AlphaInsider is free. So if you come to AlphaInsider like, well, I don't want to keep paying for all these things. I'm paying for this, paying for that. You can do this for free. You'll go to new broker connection. You'll connect if it's a crypto strategy from one of these three. And if it's a stock strategy, it'll be Alpaca as of right now. That could change going forward, but those are the ones we have available as of right now. This video and text instructions details how to grab your API keys from the broker. You'll paste them right here, and then you're going to be good to go. You'll then get put on a page that says update bot allocations. It'll look something like this, and then you can allocate 100% of your account. So whatever your balance is on that broker, on that brokerage account that you connect, if you allocate 100%, it's going to be using 100% of that balance to trade from. We do not recommend that you manually trade these accounts. The way this works is that when the bot rebalances, every so often it's going to rebalance your trades to make sure it's up to date. If it sees something that is not in your current trading strategy list, that's not an allocation. So for example, if I only have Bitcoin inside of my TC bot and it sees that I had a trade on ETH that's currently open, it's going to get rid of that ETH trade that I manually took, and it's going to rebalance my account just to have what is in the trading bot. So I wouldn't recommend manually trading inside of this. However, you technically could. I would make sub accounts. So if you're using Hyperliquid, just make a sub account that you either manually trade in or that you use for your trading bot. This way things are separate. You'll click on save, and then off the home page, you'll see your bot at the top. Click on that and you can open it up. You can add allocations. You can check the strategy. You can edit the allocations to the current strategy. You do not have to have 100% of your cash going to the strategy. If you don't want to, you can set 10%. 50%, whatever you want to do just to test things out, test the water, see how it all works. And then up in the top, there's a settings option where you can actually add the leverage, add in the max slippage that you're willing for in order to get filled by, rebalance on start and close on stop, meaning once I stop the trading bot, it's going to close out of any active positions, and rebalance on start, it's going to automatically rebalance when I click on the on button. Whatever is currently in my account, it's going to rebalance it just to fit the trading strategies and their current allocations, which right now, this trading strategy is literally just ETH. You can see it's 99% ETH. That's it. But that right there is how you can create your own Telegram trading bot where you can literally talk to it, text it, whatever you want to do, and then it's going to take those trades on your behalf without you having to go in and enter and optimize and customize all these orders and do all this math. You just say, hey, half my account, put it in ETH, and you should be good to go. Again, I will leave a link to where you're going to get the JSON file. Again, control click or right click, save as to save the file, and then you can upload it into your n8n workflow, or you could just copy the link, the URL, and again, paste it in the 3 dots where it says import from URL, and you're good to go. Follow the steps we went through, and there's also instructions on the screen. Test it a couple times, make sure you've got the right credentials selected for everything before you go and publish it. And then once you publish it, you can let it run. And right now, the one that I published a couple days ago, whenever I want to make an update, I just let it know. Thanks so much, guys. See you next time.